Good morning, and thank you for attending our webinar today. My name is John Ridley, and I'm joined today by David Gawley. Today's webinar is designed to be short but concise to give you a quick feel for the solutions we provide for integrating maintenance and management of your assets with engineering data from drawings, Microsoft Office documents, images, videos, etc. If you have any questions during the presentation, please enter them in the question box and we'll provide answers at the end of the session. Pentagon Solutions are integration solution specialists. Our in-house team of developers, application engineers, data/asset management specialists, and BIM consultants are some of the best in the industry, and they work closely with you to implement a solution that meets your exact requirements. All implementations are managed by Prince 2 qualified project managers, and once implemented, our teams of training and support engineers ensure you gain the very most from the solutions we provide. Pentagon Solutions work mainly with two partners, Accurant and Autodesk. Today's focus is on two of the Accurant products, Meridian for engineering data and content management, and Maintenance Connection for maintenance of management and assets. By bringing together Maintenance Connection and Meridian, we can ensure accurate, up-to-date engineering information can be shared with the maintenance team, and then changes identified by that team can be updated back into the data management solution. So Meridian will transform engineering data into actionable plant information, keep maintenance teams in control, compliant, aligned, and informed throughout the asset lifecycle. Data is secure, easily searched and retrieved, and allows redlining and markup with many software applications. Workflow, revision management, audit trails, and extensive reporting functionality puts you firmly in control of the data. From the maintenance aspect, work orders, preventive and predictive maintenance, along with inventory and calibration management, and again, extensive reporting capability brings assets totally under your control. As you can see from this slide, our solutions can integrate the wide range of other applications. So whether you choose a total solution for Pentagon Solutions or wish to integrate with some existing software, I'm confident you will find we can accommodate your requirements. From working with small to medium enterprises to large conglomerates, here are just a few of the clients we've implemented solutions for since our company was formed almost 20 years ago. I'm now going to hand you over to Dave Gawley for a demonstration of Maintenance Connection and Meridian. But this slide sets the premise for what David will take you through. David will initially take you through some of the maintenance features of Maintenance Connection and then call on Meridian for some data management tasks. I will now pass you over to David.
Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to review some of the technical functionality of the solution. Firstly, what we'll do is we'll look at Maintenance Connection, and then we'll look at document management integration through Meridian. So for those of you who are not aware, Maintenance Connection is an easy-to-use, subscription-based computerized maintenance management system, CMMS. It also is an enterprise asset management, EAM. It can be deployed as a SaaS, that's software as a service solution, or it can actually be on-premise customer hosted. So it's very flexible, whatever is suitable for your organization needs. The functions, they're very much scalable for your business, because we know that asset portfolios will very much vary. Maintenance Connection does have a multifaceted security functionality in there. It also, as John indicated, integrates with many third-party systems. The great thing about it is it's device agnostic mobile solution as well through Maintenance Connection Express. So it very much is a scalable solution that facilitates growth from small companies to large organizations with multiple asset portfolios. I've taken a screenshot of the interface. I really want to illustrate some of the core features in here, starting with the asset management, moving into PPM and work orders, and even getting into predictive maintenance. The solution does integrate with stock, rooms, inventory, tasks, projects. It'll even generate purchase orders for finance. Finally, we arrive down at the asset hierarchy, because each organization will be very different how it's actually organized. And then we get into suppliers, vendors, and manufacturers. And as important, we've got documentation on how members securely access the system. So Maintenance Connection really does take a holistic view of the complete asset lifecycle management, including planning, procurement, operation, even disposal or transfer of the assets. Okay, so let's maybe do a deeper dive into the technology. So the system has over 360 pre-configured reports. Custom ones can easily be created depending on the organization needs. So what this does is this actually provides immediate feedback and insight, which could be shared across multiple stakeholders. And you can see one of the sample dashboards in there. So I've recorded a series of videos here to go through the technical aspects in here. And this is the interface. You can see I can go to my dashboard. On the left-hand side, I've got my KPIs, I've got reports and charts. So these are some of the pre-configured ones for work orders. So I can look at any lag in my work orders, estimated hours, reactive or preventive maintenance work orders in here. I can actually change the appearance of it as well. So I might want to have a traffic light system. From reports, these are some of the 300 reports that are available out of the product. You can customize these, you can generate your own, you can drill down through them. So what we're doing here is we're actually drilling down through the asset reports, and we're going to look at assets by attachments, by location. So this is actually giving us all the assets that have linked documents. Some of these are in BIM 360, some are in Meridian, and some are actually in the native system itself. Again, we can drill down into the asset tree or the asset data hierarchy, as some organizations will know. We can actually get that so it's formatted for exporting for review or other additional reporting. Same with the inventory list items in here. I can get all the list of inventory, get list of stocks, purchase orders, any outstanding work orders. And even in here, we can have a look at member activity or login activity. You can see the login activity over the past 60 days. So it's very powerful to get those different reports. Equally so, we can get that through charts and information. So we can look at our work order status at the minute, who those work orders are actually assigned to, the assigned labor. We can interrogate that. We can look at the data table behind it, and that information can be easy to export out as well. Okay, so that's KPI and reports. So moving on to work order management. Automated scheduling of planned works can be generated through Maintenance Connection. So what users do here, essentially they can raise service requests via the service requester. This can be customized as well to business requirements, or can be integrated into existing websites. So it simply takes a little bit of XML or a bit of code that you can actually integrate into your current system. Users can raise a service request. They don't have to be technical. And again, we've got a video example of this. So you can see that a user can actually log a service request. It'll go through a drill down procedure. We're looking at Pentagon solutions. We can drill down further. We can look at maintenance, and we can actually get down to the asset itself. So I've got a fault with an air compressor here, and we've detected a leak. Again, this has been recorded through the just through Chrome, but this again could be a mobile device as well. It's recorded on. It could be a technical user. It could be a non-technical user. As I'm a technical user, I've actually got a bit of an image of it. So I've taken a photograph from site, and I'm going to add that. And this will automatically generate the service request in here that'll get tied into the system, automatically gets a number. And I can check the status of that at any stage and go back, because it could have multiple service requests in here. Now, what will actually happen from the work order administrator, they'll actually get an email notification. You get a notification in the system as well. So when I go back to the Maintenance Connection Work Manager, I can actually look at all the work requests that have come in today. And then I can decide to assign that to the particular resource that's available. So the resource will have all their calendars available, and I can assign it. In this case, I'm going to assign it to myself. And then I'll get a notification as part of that when I actually go into my mobile Maintenance Connection Express. So we're now on an iPad. We're looking at Maintenance Connection Express. I'm logged on, so I'm the technical resource going to have a look at this. So I'm going to have a look at the assignment of the actual work order itself. I can see all the request information about it. I can see information about the device, and I can see its location. So it's got all the information that I actually need as part of that. If I'm first to arrive on site, I might want to actually add some notes in that in first inspection. So I might say, well, I'm going to have a look at it. And again, that will actually get sent back into the service request as well. So the user will get a real-time update of actually what's happening in here. And again, that information, any meterage information that we need to record will actually get captured in the system. So I'm just going to put a brief note in here saying, I need to check the seal, need to check the connection. Any photographs that have actually been added, so that leak that's been sent out, I can view it, that's been sent in by the user, that's absolutely fine. Once I've completed the work order, I might have had to replace a valve. I can take a photograph of it as well. So there's a nice new valve on the top. I've had to replace that. and put that on. So it's actually captured in the actual history, again, from the mobile device. So Maintenance Connection Express is device agnostic. We're just happening to use an iPad in here because it could be other devices. When the repair's ready to close out, what we do is we fill in the information. So there'll be some fields that could be text generated. So I'm just going to say it's a faulty valve. But when I go to solution, because of how this is implemented, I want to make sure that there's a predetermined list that's being used. So I'm going to say I've actually replaced the asset. So this helps with future analysis and maybe when we get to predictive maintenance as well. So I can add in a meter reading as well to keep that up to date. It's always good to keep that live information going. But in this case, I'm just going to simply say, I'm going to close it out and say we've reviewed it, we've replaced the valve, and all this information will actually get caught in the audit history as well. Lastly, I will do a signature on it to say I've completed the order and then finish it off, and I'll get a summary sheet in front of me, and that will be updated on the service request. So the mobile solution for Maintenance Connection Express is device agnostic. It is very simple to use and intuitive. Assets can be scanned through a QR or barcodes. You'll see a wee bit of this later on to reveal information about the asset. And what I have in here, I've got a sample video. Again, this is using an iPhone of PPM tasks. So I've got a service request, and it's just part of preventive maintenance. And the good thing about this is task lists can be added in. So I've got a series of checkpoints that I have to go and check for this particular air compressor. As I perform them, I'll actually tick them on the list. But Maintenance Connection actually knows the type of skill sets required for this, and also tools which can be booked out. So you'll know everything about the asset, what type of tools you need to use, what type of resource skill set you need to use, and that will be validated as part of the checklist. And again, that actually gets caught up in the asset history of the work order. When we close the work order out, again, this has just been a PPM task. We would just sign it, update any meter readings, and actually just close that out, but gets captured in the actual history. Okay, so performance of assets downtime can be checked over time. We can even get into predictive maintenance. All asset history is recorded, fully available. And we notice that spending time in reactive maintenance has real challenges in there, such as reduced safety, high unplanned downtime, you've got maintenance labor issues and inefficiencies, shortened asset life, and ultimately leads to increased maintenance costs. So the more information it's actually get in the system, you get reliable data accuracy in there. So Maintenance Connection also has an automated part ordering. It actually understands minimum reorder levels. It integrates with stores and inventory levels, and purchase orders can be generated directly from the system. And this actually then integrates with finance teams. So when stock runs below a certain level, it can actually automatically generate a purchase order, and it can go through an approval process. So we can just see a simple video of spare parts and tracking. We can go into inventory. We can look at a list of all our items. We can actually do a search in this as well. So I can do a wildcard search. I'm using a percentage in here to look for a particular type of pump. I can get all the information about that pump and where that's installed. It could be multiple locations. But if I look at my stock room, I can see what's on the stock and look at my minimum reorder levels. I could look at my costs as well. What was the previous maximum minimum costs? But also, is there any related specification information such as minimum diameters or outputs? Because if that manufacturer is not available, I may want to order a similar one from another manufacturer, as well as having any associated document with it as well is actually attributed to the inventory item list. Okay, so how do we add an asset? So simply add an asset in here is quite a straightforward process. In this case, what we're going to do, we're going to go into the assets. Under the grounds, I'm simply going to hit a new asset. I'm going to classify it as asset. In the classification hierarchy, which is again client dependent, I'm going to simply look for a septic tank. So I'm going to add this in because there's a class there, it's already available for that. You'll see that there's an auto number there, so it will automatically generate a number. Again, I can override that. And I'm going to give the model in here. This is a Board Nimona Pure Flow, and we're going to put the serial number in. So we're starting to aggregate and add information to the actual asset itself. I might give its actual location, and then we could actually tie that into a repair center. Now, there could be multiple repair centers in here, and I'm happy that we maintain this. So I'm going to say Pentagon Solutions maintain it. It's part of our repair center in there. As soon as we save that, it'll generate a QR code or a barcode could be generated. That can then be assigned to the asset. So you can see in here, we've got the QR code, and then that can give us our connection into Maintenance Connection Express for teams on site. So if we want to attach any documents in there, so maybe I've got specific records behind that, records can be added directly into the system. So I've got a couple of PDFs. One's a technical specification. One's actually a technical bulletin about replacing the peat, which probably happens every 5 years. They get added in. So that means they can be viewed in the system, but they can also be viewed by teams on site. So you can see the two PDFs in there. Now, there's other ways to add in documents we're going to see later on. We can actually do that in through Meridian. So you can see the PDFs actually get attributed in there. Now, for actual specific tasks related to this, we'll have PM tasks we may want to add. Because I have other septic tanks, I'm going to do a search for desludge in here. So you can see septic desludge. Typically that occurs every 6 months. We can apply that. And that particular task will have a set procedure, very similar to what you saw on the iPhone earlier on, and checkpoints that need to go through. So we've saved that. We've just added in a PPM task to that. So we've got our any related information or any PM tasks or attached documents we can actually add in. Finally, may want to just add in an image. Again, we could have multiple septic tanks in a same proximity or similar area. We might have a specific image that we may need to add in against this. So just adding the image that actually has the tank itself and the two peat modules, and that actually completes the asset information for me. So for sites that have existing asset registers, data migration tools are available. So you may have thousands of different assets that you need to transfer, and these can be integrated, and they can be integrated with documents through tagging. It's very important that you make sure that the data is validated and structured. You can use it as part of the migration process. As an example, you could have Excel information, you could have information that's come from databases or other systems. You map the fields to maintenance connection, and then you configure the data standards and the asset data hierarchy in there. Now, some of you could be taking some FM handover data in there. That's absolutely fine. Some could be taken, if you're from construction industry, some COBE data. That's absolutely fine as well. It's quite good because it's structured data. And then you select the template they actually import, and that'll go through an import process based on your actual configuration. Okay, so what I'm going to take a look at now is asset data management. So how do we integrate it with other systems, and particularly how do we actually integrate it with Meridian, which is an engineering document management system. So you can see in here that we have that particular compressor again. So I can create a link into a geospatial model. This simply taking me to Google Maps. This could be Esri. It's giving me information about the asset location. But if I zoom out, I've got my wider asset locations or wider sites in there. Exactly the same when it comes into models. So I have a model in here that takes me into the asset. So I'm doing this through A360. It could be BIM 360. So again, I can interrogate the information in there. But what we want to do is actually link this asset to a Meridian record in an engineering document management system. So as soon as I hit the link, it's going to ask me to add in the actual files. So I've got a PDF, or I've got a drawing in here that I want to add in. It's a schematic. When I hit add, this is going to link the actual tag to this document. You can see that we're filling in metadata in here. Now, Meridian is very powerful. It can actually do automated naming conventions in here to specific standards such as 19650 and national annexes. But this one's just going to add in utility flow information. All this metadata is going to be searchable. It can actually be linked into the title sheet as well, whether that's CAD products such as AutoCAD or Bentley or a BIM authoring product. But what's happened is the asset tag is now tied into the actual DWG. So this is the Meridian. Again, this is the web power client, and you can see it's tied into the actual tag. The great thing is what it does, the publishing function will create a rendition of this as a PDF, because not everyone on site will have access to the AutoCAD. So again, this is a normal process that a user would see. It's just showing the administration console where it's automatically publishing the PDF. So that will automatically happen in the background. The record will get published. So that means that users don't have access to AutoCAD will actually see it as a published PDF. And again, you can actually view the rendition of that. So that document is now tied into the asset and that's searchable information as well. Okay, so how does that impact the teams? How can they actually use this information? Well, here we are, we're going to scan the asset again. So we're going to use the QR code to actually scan the asset. It takes us into the asset Maintenance Connection Express. It'll take us directly to this asset, the air compressor. So we use our face credentials in here from a security perspective. So we can interrogate all the information about the asset. QR code is taking us directly to it. So we can see all the history and everything about it. But also we can actually see associated data such as Meridian, and we can also see any linked documents in there. So this is all the information about the actual asset itself, the maintenance, maximum capacity. We want to view the documents in Meridian. So as soon as I click in here, there's associated records with this. This will take us to the Meridian Explorer client. So we can see our dashboard and we've got our records here on the right-hand side. So I can click on that schematic or that rendition that we had earlier on, and we can view that information. And this might be very important because from a maintenance point of view, we may look at the schematic and want to feed a bit of information back. And maybe there's something wrong with the schematic. We can actually do a red line and commentary in there as well. So focusing on Meridian, so engineering teams may not have access to Maintenance Connection. They may just have access to the Meridian directly. So they may view documents related to that. So how do they search for information? So by using the tag from the actual asset, so we can search for this particular compressor in here. We can bring up, we know that we've got compressor 55, we can bring up the actual tag. As soon as we click on it, all the documents related to that particular asset are available. So I may not have access to Maintenance Connection, but as an engineering manager, I may need to be able to view the documents, may need to be able to view the drawings and schematics in there. And again, I can go through a red line process and feed that information back into the office. Again, for multiple documents, that doesn't make any difference whether it's schematics in there, it's PDFs or outputs. In this case, this is the rendition from the drawing that we had earlier on. And again, you can see the markup tools along the top of the actual screen. So regardless of your industry, the management of assets is absolutely vital. Today, you've seen some of the core functionality in Maintenance Connection. So this includes asset management, looking at reports, adding in records, the mobile solutions from PPM and document management integration. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you back to John, and he's going to close out the webinar.
Thank you very much, David, for that presentation. So just as a brief summary of what you've seen today, Maintenance Connection provides an extensive range of features for managing preventative and predictive maintenance, work orders, inventory and calibration management. Meridian allows you to securely create and manage documents, control workflows and revision management, or full audit trail of document history to ensure you achieve compliance with any appropriate bodies. Together, Maintenance Connection and Meridian provides a total solution for ensuring your assets are managed accurately, efficiently and efficiently. I would like to close by thanking everyone for attending today. We'd now like to take some questions and answer sessions, or if you prefer, there is my contact details, so please do not hesitate to contact me after the webinar. But any questions, then please type them in now. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, John. We've got a couple of questions in here. Are there any tools for loading multiple hundreds of assets in one go? And is there a hierarchical link between the assets at a location? Yes, the answer to that is, so that would be defined as part of the implementation. That's a great question, actually. So there's an asset data structure that you define as part of that. And as part of the migration tools that can actually be migrated across. Again, that could come from other data sources or in your organization, whether it's data, could be databases or it could be Excel led in there. So yes, there's a way to actually migrate hundreds of records Different organizations will set this up in different ways. Some will be building based and go down to rooms. Some will be site based as well, and that's absolutely fine. That's fully configurable in the product. There's another one in question in here going, is this cloud-based? Yes. So what we've actually shown here is a cloud-based solution. It can be on-premise as well. So, but yes, it's a cloud-based solution. Any other questions at all coming through? There's one there about all the features. All the features you've shown, are they in the base product? Yeah, so for maintenance connection, everything I've shown about reporting, everything I've shown about preventive maintenance, setting up the tasks, charts, KPIs, adding assets, all that's within the product. It is license-based. Meridian is a separate product. It's an engineering document management system, so that would be separate, but it does integrate with maintenance connection. But everything we've shown in maintenance connection is actually in the base product. Nope, that looks like us, John. That's it, fine. Okay, so everyone, thank you very much for attending this today. My contact details are there on the screen. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to come back to me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye.